habit of buying the latest Louis Vuitton bag, especially with Louis Vuitton, you will go broke, guys. I will tell you that now, because the amount of Louis Vuitton bags that come out, especially these days, is insane. In the moment, you might be feeling a little emotional, a little bit bored with your life, and you see that latest Louis Vuitton Neverfull inside out mini bag and you're like, oh my god, they haven't done something so good in years, I have to buy it. But would you have bought that, guys, like 3 years ago? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. I would absolutely love that. Always try to grow my channel and get more views. Thank you. I wanted to discuss today from my experience, goals you shouldn't necessarily set out to achieve when collecting handbags. Collecting handbags can literally send you broke. I've seen a lot of people go crazy with the handbags, myself included. Maybe spend a little bit too much money over the years on handbags, and guys, no judgment. Honestly, when it comes to collecting handbags, it is, you know, you can get sucked into a rabbit hole. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to buy one bag here, buy one bag there, and all of a sudden you've spent $100,000. I know that sounds insane, but if you look at people's collections on YouTube, they are worth a lot of money, and this isn't something that you should necessarily strive to achieve in a short amount of time, because financially it can be pretty full on. And I will say that over the years, I've spent too much money on handbags. I can admit that. Everyone in life has a vice, a passion, a hobby. I don't regret spending a lot of money on handbags. It's given me a lot of joy. I've been able to create a YouTube channel from it. But it's not necessarily something I would recommend for everybody, because you spend a lot of time and money focusing on something that maybe isn't even going to give you that much fulfillment in life. I hear a lot of advice from people to strive to collect one bag from each brand. I think as a fashion enthusiast or someone who loves fashion, you love to learn about different handbag designers, and if you're into that kind of thing, you might have the tendency to want to collect one bag from each brand. Maybe you want a classic Speedy, maybe you want a Lady Dior, maybe you want a 2.55 from Chanel, a Birkin, a Fendi Baguette. And sometimes I would advise against, maybe for some people this works well, but I would advise against doing this for most people, because most people haven't realized what their actual style is before investing so much money into so many brands. If you are not somebody who identifies their style with Fendi, I wouldn't necessarily buy a Fendi bag because it's worth collecting for your collection. You really have to start to realize what you actually wear, what's your style, what silhouettes you like, what colors you like. And I would rather recommend you stick to certain brands that you think suit you. Not everybody is going to suit Pharrell for Louis Vuitton. In fact, that's a very specific kind of style. And there's definitely so many people out there who like to change their style with their mood and personality. But over the years, this can get quite expensive. I can say, guys, like when I was younger, I used to work at Topshop, and you know, we had so many different aesthetics. Like we had like more of a festival vibe, then there was more like a spacey vibe, and then sporty vibe, and I just wanted to be everything basically, and my style was every day I was like a different vibe. And I think that's okay sometimes, but if you do that with very expensive handbags and you have all these different kind of thing happening, it can be quite confusing for your style, because you start to like not realize how to dress properly because you have too many styles in your wardrobe. So it's good to kind of identify what brand I think speaks to you the most, and really go for those kind of styles first. You don't have to collect every single brand if not every brand is your style. And I do get a lot of criticism sometimes because most of my bags are Hermes, and a lot of people say, Jess, you don't have enough variety, or you should diversify your collection more. But I like to collect Hermes because I love the colors they do, the classic silhouettes, and I find most of their bags to be very casual. So I find them very easy to wear with, you know, knits and jeans and even sometimes more sporty clothes. So that's why I go for that style over something like I did buy a Fendi sequin baguette, but this is something I hardly wear because it's just not my style. It's too dressy. It's too much of like a party girl aesthetic, which is not my style. So yeah, I think it's important to identify that with buying bags. Maybe you are not somebody who is going to wear a Lady Dior, even though you think it's a must-have bag, because it's not your style. It's too elegant, it's too ladylike. Okay, my next point is collecting bags just for the sake of collecting it. This is honestly, guys, if you are not already a multi-millionaire, this is going to send you broke. I will tell you that now. It is very easy to collect things. I think from a young age, even if you're from my kind of generation or a bit older, we were kind of told that it's good to collects them all, you know, collect all the Tarzos, collect all the Pokemon cards, and we got a sense of fulfillment out of completing a collection. Or, you know, my dad used to collect stamps, and he would have got a lot of satisfaction out of filling a whole page up with stamps. And when it comes to collecting handbags is a whole different price point. If you were to collect every single classic Chanel bag, every single classic Louis Vuitton monogram bag, you have to ask yourself, okay, I'll get fulfillment out of completing the collection, but is it really worth all the money you have to pay to buy something just to complete the collection? Because I'll give you an example. The other day, I bought a little box from Muji to put in my Cadena charms. Now, these are some other ones too, but I basically had about 5 in here. And because I had all these little holes left, something triggered in my brain like, okay, now I have to buy more. I should buy the elephant. I should buy the shooting star. I should buy this. And that would be probably several $1,000s, you know, if I wanted to fill up this whole thing. But my head was like, you should collect more. You should definitely collect more. But I initially bought these Cadena just to decorate on like one specific bag and, you know, just have it like that kind of as a decoration. But when you get into the mindset that you're collecting it just for collector's purposes, not necessarily for a specific bag or a specific look, it becomes a very slippery slope. Because if you're collecting for collector's purposes, it is endless. That means that I also have to buy the latest Faubourg building one that's $1,500. That means that I also have to start looking at, you know, ones that I don't even like, I don't know, the one that's shaped like a H. I don't love that much, but I should buy it for the collector's purpose. So you gotta ask yourself, is it worth collecting it just for your collection? Because if you're not deciding to like create a museum or, I don't know, have some sort of specific display that, you know, because life is too short, guys. Life is too short to buy things that you're not that huge a fan of and to spend money. Because when you're spending money, the thing is, unless you're, you know, have so much money that you, unlimited money, which some people do, for the average person, you want to like allocate your funds to something that you really love. And if you fall down the rabbit hole of collecting just for collector's purpose, not because you necessarily like it, it can end up being very expensive. So I'm mindful of that now. I still love collecting things. I get a lot of satisfaction out of completing a collection, but I tend to try and do it with things that are a little bit cheaper. I did get into a habit of doing it with these very expensive Pegasus charms, and I've kind of stopped that now. I do want the Rose Darling color, but yeah, but I'm more mindful of it. I don't try to fall down the habit of collecting just for the collector's purpose. I do it with Hello Kitty as well. Something that is an endless money pit, basically, to collect for collector's purpose. Keeping up with Instagram trends. Now, it is very easy to just fall down the habit of just buying the latest thing. And I think a lot of us don't realize it, but well, we do realize it, but in the moment, you might be feeling a little emotional, a little bit bored with your life, and you see that latest Louis Vuitton Neverfull inside out mini bag and you're like, oh my god, they haven't done something so good in years, I have to buy it. But would you have bought that, guys, like 3 years ago? Are you buying it because it's new? Like, it's, you know, newness gets old fast, basically, when it comes to fashion. Something is shiny and new only for a small amount of time, and then it's the next thing. So you have to ask yourself, am I just buying this because it's new? Or do I just want to buy this because it's new? Because you can buy a bag, like a Neverfull bag, like they've been making that for years. Or you can buy a mini tote from some other brand, like, I don't know, Kate Spade. And it could be just as good, to be honest, but you're just buying it because it's the latest Louis Vuitton bag. That habit of buying the latest Louis Vuitton bag, especially with Louis Vuitton, you will go broke, guys. I will tell you that now, because the amount of Louis Vuitton bags that come out, especially these days, is insane. And I know that Louis Vuitton as a brand, I had to stop buying it because it is the most addictive brand out of all the brands, because they churn out bags like crazy, and you want to get like the matching SLG, the matching thing, and then you just want to collect everything, and then you want to collect all the colors. You need all the sizes of the Speedy, the Mini Speedy, Speedy 20, Speedy, and it just becomes too difficult, especially when you're buying new Louis Vuitton. So yeah, I formed that habit with Hermes a little bit. When a new thing comes out, I'm like, oh, I need that new bag charm. I need that new color. And I am mindful of that. And I realize I don't have to buy every new thing that comes out. Well, I can't anyway, but I found that with brands like Louis Vuitton, it's even easier to buy because it's slightly easier to get. With Hermes, at least, there's a bit of that chase. Like, you can't just get everything you want because, for example, something in the Rose Darling color I like will probably be hard to get because a lot of people will want that color, or I have to be stalking the website. Which is another thing. Don't just buy things because they're hard to get, because I think a lot of people, I've fallen into the habit in the past of buying things, especially from the Louis Vuitton website, because they're hard to get. I remember a few years ago, maybe it was 2020, 2021, I was on this mission to buy the multi-pochette. And I just kept stalking the website all day, every day, stalking, and eventually it was add to cart, and I bought it because I'm like, oh my gosh, the hottest, latest new bag, love it. And, you know, I ended up selling that bag because I didn't even like it that much. So, I mean, chasing the hottest thing, or even just buying something because it's hard to get, it's not necessarily something that you really love or will keep or enjoy, because the novelty fades fast from buying something, you know, that's the hottest thing in that moment. I would say, think about how you want to allocate your funds with your handbag collection. Are you somebody who gets more enjoyment out of buying bags that you really use, or are you somebody who likes to collect bags just to have on your shelf? Because I think either is okay. If you're somebody who just enjoys collecting like Judith Lieber Diamante clutches, then allocate your funds to that and form a beautiful collection and have a beautiful display. Definitely do that. But if you buy a Judith Lieber clutch for like $5,000 and you never wear it and you find it becomes a waste of money, maybe you're somebody like me, for example. I prefer to put my money towards bags that I wear mainly every day. Like, for example, I wear my trim bag. Oh, wait, what is this? This is a plume bag. I wear this so often. It was like around $2,000. But I get a lot of satisfaction out of this over something like this, which I don't wear much because it's very tiny and it's very cute and it's got sequins, but it's also more delicate. So I would much rather spend more money on an everyday, less cute bag or less fancy bag than have a big collection of evening clutches, because that is not my style. I've in the past, I've bought very dressy bags. Like, I even had a beautiful Veru bag with a chain in a smooth leather. Never ever wore that bag. I wore it a few times, but it was too dressy. So I buy bags that, you know, like this pink bag, very easy to wear every day, very casual, something like that. I would rather buy it than buy a very fancy bag. But that's just me. You have to kind of realize, okay, you don't have to spend a lot of money on formal occasion bags all the time, because actually I find that with, like, for example, when I'm going to a wedding, I would rather buy like a contemporary bag or a cheaper bag, because I probably won't wear that bag very often. I'll just wear it for a few special occasions and then get rid of it or whatever. Or I don't know, I might keep it for the next special occasion. But when it comes to my everyday clothes, I like to have a really, I like to put my money more towards that. So you got to identify in your head, where or how do I want to allocate the funds? Do I have to spend a lot of money on a really formal occasion bag? I think another thing that people fall into is following a neutral color palette when it comes to collecting bags. Or because I think for most people this works, just sticking to like tans and cream and beige and black and gray and neutral. But this is not going to work for everybody. A lot of people will tell you stick to neutral colors when you're collecting handbags. And I found for me, neutrals do definitely work for me. I love black. Black, you can never go wrong with black. I will always say you can never go wrong with a black bag, because if you get it dirty, you can't tell. Easiest color to maintain. For me, it goes with everything. But that's because black suits me and I look good in black. But if you're somebody who, there's a lot of people who don't look good in black, your neutral will be maybe more of a tan or something like that, a beige, which doesn't suit me. So I fell into the habit in the past of buying beige and tan and brown, and I actually suit a chocolate brown, but that more yellowy, pooey brown, I've realized that's not a color that I actually find easy to wear. So I always thought I needed to buy those kinds of neutrals, but you should identify what neutrals actually suit you before buying certain neutral colors, because not all shades of beige will suit everybody, especially, and black isn't a color that's going to suit everybody as well. If you're somebody who gets a lot of enjoyment out of just collecting purple bags, do that, like, because you'll probably wear it more. I love hot pink. I wear my Picotin. It's probably my most used bag, and this is nowhere near a neutral color, but for some reason I always feel like it goes with my outfit. Even today, I don't know, I just feel like it goes. Maybe just because I like the color, but yeah, you have to kind of think, what colors will I like wearing? And you don't always have to stick to a neutral color palette, because actually it might just not be your personality. For some people it is, but it's just, you know, some people find that doesn't work for them. And I know when I have brown bags, I don't wear them, so I don't know why. That's just how what I identified in myself. And then finally, I think it's important to not necessarily strive to have a massive handbag collection, because I would say I have probably too many bags for the average person. But I think that the problem that I had when I was a few years back, I always made mood boards and looked at other people's collections and thought, oh, I need to have like 20 bags. I need to have like 40 bags. And this is something that is not necessarily going to give you a lot of fulfillment. I will say from experience, you could have 5 bags and get the same joy out of those 5 bags, you know, compared to if you have 100 bags. Because sometimes if you just love and appreciate what you have, you actually feel happy and you feel happy to wear it. But if you're constantly adding and adding and adding, it actually can become quite overwhelming, and it can not only drain your bank account, but it can take up, it's hard to organize, because these bags, you have to maintain them, you have to look after them, dust them or whatever, and it can become a little bit of a liability as well. So I wouldn't necessarily say striving to have a massive handbag collection is going to be a smart move for most people. For me, I'm okay at the number I have now. I do still want to add maybe a few more, but I do try and practice the one in, one out kind of thing, because I find otherwise I get a bit overwhelmed with my collection. I think it's good to be mindful of how many bags you have too, because if you don't have unlimited money, it's worth letting go of a few bags if you can, to fund that dream bag that you really want, instead of continuously accumulating, because again, with trendy bags, it's actually smarter to sell them when they're still popular. If you keep them and like think they're going to go up in value, it's not necessarily going to happen. I will say that now. I think, again, with my kind of generation, we think, oh, I'll buy this now and it's going to go up in value and it'll be worth so much in the future, like with Beanie Kids or any kind of like coins or whatever. Some things, yes, they do go up in value, but I'm going to tell you guys, like when it comes to Chanel, Hermes, we don't know how much they're going to be worth in 20 years. They could be worth absolutely nothing, because at the rate that these brands are producing bags means that they're becoming more common, and we just don't know what they're going to be worth in the future. So it's not worth necessarily holding on to something if it's not giving you joy. But yeah, I guess that's a whole other topic. I might talk about that in a different video, because I have a lot of thoughts about that too. But I'm going to stop blabbing on now because, yeah, I don't know, I'm very talkative today. But thanks for watching. Let me know, do you have any advice for people who are just getting into handbags, bad habits you can form when buying handbags? Because yeah, it is very easy to go overboard, and yeah, I've been there, and I'm still in there, to be honest. So yes, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!